up guys, Ali here and welcome to Ali Talks Music. Add me on Instagram at Ali Talks Music as well. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Now let's get into the video. Allure is a Long Island-based R&B group that formed in the mid to late 90s. The singers that formed the quartet were Akissa Mendez, Aaliyah Davis, Lenny Belcher, and Lalisha McLean. Initially, the group consisted of only Aaliyah, Akissa, and Lalisha, and formed when the trio were in high school. They later recruited Lenny Belcher, who was studying at Julia Richmond High School at the time. That's when they realized that music was the career they wanted to pursue. The foursome dictated all of their free time to pursuing their passion for music and practiced at a community center in the Bronx every week. Unlike other groups, Allure has a rather unusual dynamic. For example, Allure has no lead singer. The singing parts were divided equally and shared between the girls. As all girls do, they noticed similarities between the four of them, which came in pairs. Much like the well-known group ABBA, the girls have two sets of matching first initials, namely A, Aaliyah and Akissa, and L, Lalisha and Lenny. The similarities do not end there, with both Aaliyah and Akissa being Virgos, while Lalisha and Lenny are Leos. The group also has two Baptists and two Catholics, two serious personalities, and two carefree ones. For 2 years after they initially formed, the girls worked hard, putting in hours of practice and forming managerial connections whenever they could. Their hard work finally paid off when they caught the attention of Poke from the production team of Track Masters. Poke granted them an audition and christened the group with their name. He wanted their image to be sexy but not too provocative. Hence, Allure. Poke was the breakthrough the girls needed, and with his assistance they managed to sign on as the first group under Mariah Carey's new label, Crave. Allure released their first single, Head Over Heels, in the late 90s. The track featured Nas and was a relative success, peaking at number 35 on the US Hot 100. It also made it to the US R&B charts, making its way to number 17 and number 18 on the UK singles chart. They followed this with another single titled No Question, featuring LL Cool J.
Blue ocean, think about it, feel emotion, young queen.
The song gained decent airplay, but failed to make an impact on the charts. Shortly thereafter, Allure dropped their self-titled debut album, which was later certified gold by the RIAA and reached number 103 on the US Billboard Hot 200. It also made its way to the US Billboard R&B charts, making its way to the 23rd position. After the success of their first album, it seemed like the girls were on an upward trajectory. According to Akissa, what set them apart was that they wanted to possess a career. They were not interested in only creating one hit record. They wanted to try and seek out a lifetime of hits. Their next single they released was a cover of All Cried Out by Lisa Lisa and Carl Jam. Their version featured R&B quartet 112 and was their biggest hit to date, hitting 5 different charts and staying on the charts for 22 consecutive weeks. It peaked at number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100, number 6 on Billboard's Top 40 mainstream chart, number 3 on Billboard's Rhythmic Top 40 chart, 4 on the Billboard's Hot Dance Music / Maxi Singles Sales chart, and 9th on the Billboard's Hot R&B Singles chart. They followed this success with just one more single in 1998 called Last Chance, which was co-written by Mariah Carey. The single did not make an impact on the charts, and soon after that Crave was dissolved. Around 1998, Mariah Carey divorced from her husband, then president of Sony Music, Tommy Mottola. The couple formed the group together, and with the divorce it was dissolved, leaving Allure with no contract.
Basically, when Mariah was married to Tommy Mottola.
We basically, the label was a gift to her for like, I think, her birthday or anniversary or something.
We didn't know that.
We didn't know that at the time, but you know.
That's not against the contract. It's just in case y'all get given over as a gift, you're going with Mariah.
Well, we didn't go with nobody.
Yes.
Yeah.
The quartet released 2 more singles around 1999. You're Only the One for Me, which was featured on the soundtrack of the hit film Runaway Bride, and When the Shades Go Down, which was featured on the soundtrack for the film The Best Man. Just 2 years after Crave dissolved, Allure managed to land another contract with MCA Records around 2000. Under the new label, they recorded their next single, Enjoy Yourself. The single performed adequately, peaking at number 50 on the US R&B charts and remaining on the charts for 18 weeks. Unfortunately, this was the last single to hit the charts. Their second album, Sunny Days, was released around 2001 and peaked at number 68 on the US Top R&B Hip-Hop Albums chart. The girls really enjoyed recording it and were far more involved in the writing process than they had been previously. The album performed reasonably well, but did not receive the necessary backing that it required from the label, falling far short of the success that their first album inspired. The album spawned another single titled Cool With Me, which was pushed to radio, but again did not receive the necessary support from the label and had no impact on the charts. Following this, Allure left MCA Records, and shortly thereafter Lenny left the group entirely, reducing them to a trio. When questioned as to why Lenny left the group, Aaliyah vaguely stated, "She wanted to do her own thing and go another route we didn't want to go. We wanted to concentrate on music. She had other ideas. We still wanted to be us, so we kept it going." The girls still love and honor their previous member as an important part of their history and refuse to replace her because in their eyes, all four members are irreplaceable. They continued with the group because they still loved performing and there was no reason for them to stop. The trio went underground to regroup following Lenny's departure, surfacing briefly in 2002 to feature on Tom Jones's album, Mr. Jones. They appeared on the song The Letter. Following this, the girls disappeared again until 2004. That's when NBA player Ron Artest signed them to his newly established record label, True Warrior Records. The girls received a lot of flack for signing with a third record label after already releasing 2 albums with 2 labels and were deemed desperate for signing with Artest because of his lack of experience. According to Allure, however, Artest was the best boss they had ever had and his firm belief and support made all the difference, citing that he was the sweetest person, super smart, and a great businessman. Allure released their third album called Chapter 3 around 2004. The inspiration for the name came from 2 factors, namely that the group now consisted of 3 members and the fact that it was their third album. The album did not hit the charts and more or less went unnoticed by the public despite receiving a lot of press due to the suspension of Ron Artest. The incident in question was a brawl between Artest's basketball team, the Pacers, and the Detroit Pistons. It resulted in Artest being suspended for the rest of the season, plus any playoffs, the longest on-court suspension in history.
Ben to the basket, hard foul by Artest. Ben said, "I've had enough. That's enough, I'm going to shove you." And now
this naturally generated a lot of bad press, which is arguably the reason that Chapter 3 did not perform as well as expected. According to the girls, everybody was trying to make a mockery of Artest and all that he stood for. Not to be deterred, Allure persevered, releasing 2 more singles with True Warrior Records. The singles were Uh-Oh, which was released around 2004, and Think I'm in Love in 2005, which featured rapper Joe Budden. They dropped the album again in the UK around 2006. This version featured a new track, You Are the Man, and a remixed version of Hate to Love You, which appeared on the initial album. Once again, the album failed to make an impact, and the girls soon left True Warrior, disappearing underground once again. The girls resurfaced in 2008, establishing their own label, ALA Recordings. They released their first EP, Patiently Waiting, in November, which once again failed to make an impact on the charts. Despite the fact that the girls had not matched their initial level of success in 7 years, they refused to quit, releasing another album in 2010. The album was called Time's Up, and once again failed to make the impact that Allure was hoping for. This is despite receiving favorable reviews by the fans. The following year, the trio gave up on their record label and signed with MC Shan's label, Bridgeworks, which also has a distribution deal with Interscope Records. Despite signing around 2011, it wasn't until 2014 that the group released music under the new label in the form of Butterflies, a single that featured MC Shan himself. After Butterflies, Allure went quiet once again before releasing just one more single around 2018. The single featured talented female rapper Deja B and was titled Like I Do, with a video premiering a few days later. Around 2020, Mariah Carey released her memoir, The Meaning of Mariah Carey. The book detailed Mariah's journey, the racial, the social, cultural, family struggles, and her professional struggles and triumphs. The book was met with critical acclaim and became a New York Times bestseller in its first week of release. In the book, Mariah details her marriage to Tommy Mottola and their record label, Crave. She speaks extensively about the group Allure in the League, which she openly states was her favorite thing about the label, and starred them in her video Sweetheart. Ultimately, however, she failed to mention Allure, even going so far as to list another group as her first act, and a named source sent the girls a picture of this, which naturally upset them. They went on to blast Mariah on Instagram, posting videos of her reading from the book without mentioning them. They then posted an old clip of Mariah speaking about her first group on the label, Allure.
So the first release for my label is a group called Allure, and they're 4 girls. They're really beautiful, really talented. I did some work on the album. And
after this, they took to Instagram to make a long post as how she treated them as nothing more than a business transaction, despite them being close friends at the time of signing. Ever care to even see how we were after everything was said and done? We would have been okay with you never mentioning the label at all. We were close to you, like sisters. But to actually mention the label and completely disregard us and our accolades and what we brought to the table as your first artists is a slap in the face. The only sweet deal left from Crave was a conquest with one of your artists. Wow, talk about priorities. Good to know. LOL, unreal. We wore Crave. Congratulations, you played yourself. When asked why she excluded certain members from her memoir, Mariah revealed that she didn't think they brought enough to her brand. She explained that those that were excluded from the book were thirds who did not pertain to the specific meaning of the book, the meaning of Mariah. In conclusion, the girls were not able to keep up with their upwards trajectory after the departure of Linny. Though they were easily able to adapt their songs without her, as there was no lead singer, the girls bounced from label to label. They produced 4 albums under 4 different labels, creating the necessity to constantly redefine their brand. The girls have maintained a steady presence in the business, however Linny has maintained a distance since departing from the group and maintains a high level of privacy. Of the trio, 2 are married, and all 3 are happily mothers. They still perform sporadically at random functions, but their last notable performance was at the Barbados Music Festival in December of 2011. Since then, their website has not been updated. However, Keisha Mendez' Twitter profile suggests that they are still writing and singing songs, and they can easily be found on Instagram under the name Official Allure 97. As mentioned earlier, the group still performs. They also seem to have hinted at a possible new release on their Instagram profile earlier in the year. Fingers crossed it's a new album, one that reintroduces the girls to the charts. Allure gets about 120k monthly listeners on Spotify, and their most popular songs on the platform are All Cried Out, Head Over Heels, and Last Chance. That's it for me, man. It's your boy Ali. What happened to Allure in your opinion? Let me know down below. If you have a video request, be sure to let me know as well. New What Happened to video dropping next week. Till next time, peace.